Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you give us a roll call?
Tom Duffy,
Here.
John Righeimer is excused, Stacy Hassel, Brian Bissonette,
Here.
Chris Rusk.
Here.
Have a quorum.
All right, let's stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, as far as certification of compliance,
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statute.
okay, thank you. And the meeting agenda has been set. Anybody have any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the public comments. Linda, you're on.
Linda Zilmer, resident of the Village of Birchwood and Edgewater property owner. Earlier this morning, I sent you committee members and Mr. Alvarado an email which included some historic information on previous economic development efforts that were done here in Sawyer County, primarily by extension. So you can look back and there's on the county website a link to the 2005 Economic Development Summit. And attached to the email is the 2007 survey and report on the economic impact of second resident homeowners. And that was incorporated into the both comprehensive plans, both the original and the updated. And then last month you saw another report from Extension that shows some of the demographics and property ownership data for the county. The county economy may have some benefit from tourism, but there are also additional costs and some negatives associated with that. And really some of the economic drivers, as you can see, is the second non-resident home ownership. A lot of people came here for peace and quiet and the Northwoods atmosphere. And so please take that into consideration. It's not all about tourism. And as I can attest from this weekend with the Tuscobia Trail going through the Village of Birchwood and into Edgewater and Sawyer County this weekend, the clouds of dust have already started. And I know that there's another push to open up all county highways, but I think Sawyer County would do better to leave county highways closed and follow Bayfield County's lead. This last month, they voted to not open all county roads, and there was a lot of testimony from communities that really want to keep their peace and quiet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Anybody online, Madam Clerk? No? Okay, let's move on to item 7, the approval of the minutes from last month. You care to move that?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Okay, and I'll second the motion. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Very well, it's carried. Okay, let's go on then to the Sawyer County Fair. Anybody here have any comments on the fair? Stacy, do you have any comments on the fair?
It'll happen in August.
Okay. Okay, then we'll go on, move on to the University of Wisconsin Extension. All right. Morning.
So as promised, Bridget Rungner is here to talk to you about Foodwise and Strong Bodies and all the great work that her educators are doing in this county. While she's doing that, I'm going to give you a couple handouts that also came out this past maybe 2 weeks ago of how to connect to agriculture and horticulture. And so I want to make sure you have these flyers and information to share out with others and go from there. Yeah, I can.
Okay, good morning. I'm Bridget Rongner. I'm the Foodwise administrator for the area. And Lori's going to pass around the annual report from the previous year. It just sort of highlights of some of the direct education that we did throughout the county. But one thing I wanted to point out, it's been sort of a slow build back up since COVID. And I wanted to just point out some of the stats on here that we more than doubled the number of learners from the previous year to last year. and increased our program activities by 70%. So we're going strong. Kim, our nutrition educator, if you've seen her around, is on the move, constantly out doing great direct education work. We also are helping get healthy foods, especially fresh produce, out to Sawyer County residents. We worked with the Spooner Ag Research Station, which also supports Sawyer County, and we distributed it with their help over 382 pounds of produce last year to Sawyer County participants. One other quick thing, I just received notice last week. I had applied for a garden grant through FoodWise with the Hayward School District, and that we just found out last week was approved. So we are going to be starting a school garden with some of the teachers and staff at Hayward School. The students will be involved with the planting and harvesting and tending to the garden. The food will be used in the school lunches. And we'll also be working to distribute that food to the Hayward Food Pantry so that the food gets out to the community and the students. So we're super excited about that. I have actually a meeting right after this with some of the Hayward teachers and staff to start planning. So Kim will be out there doing direct ed also. So hopefully we'll be able to bring some of that food in here. I heard through the grapevine, you had a couple questions about our Strong Bodies class. So I was gonna just show you a little bit. The class is for adults, but primarily our target audience is middle-aged and older. And the reason that is because all the exercises in that class, it's evidence-based. So everything we do in this class is based on things that can strike us as we age with our bodies. So I'm going to show you two things. So when you think about when we age, and one of the things that happens a lot is there's more falls that happen, right? And so one thing that happens when you lose that balance and you fall is you catch yourself with your hand. So then a lot of injuries happen with wrists, breaking wrists, or just injuries in general. So specifically because of that reason, one of the exercises we do is called our wrist curls, and we have the participants sit on a bench like this or sit on a chair like this. And then our motions, we go up, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. And so what that does is it builds that strength around our bone and our muscles, and then also increases our flexibility, right? So when we're doing these exercises at the beginning, we're telling the participants, these are the reasons why we're doing this. And what we're hoping to do is get more buy-in to when they understand why we're having these movements as part of the class. It helps them understand and hopefully stick with the program. I'm going to show you one other one that we do. One thing that keeps, as we get older, one of the first things that gets adults not able to stay in their home any longer is the inability to get in and out of seats, up and off the toilet, in and out of the bathtub. It's the loss of the strength in our thighs. So we do our squats. So we have participants stand in front of chairs and they cross their arms like this. And then we have them go down, 2, 3, 4. And if we have some participants, they can sit all the way down and then they come all the way up. So then we explain to the participants, if you want to be able to use these muscles to get in and out of chairs, up and off the toilet, then these are really important muscles to be able to continue to do that. So through this program last year, the virtual class that we teach with our Northwest colleagues, we reached 164 participants. And just some of the feedback we got, I noticed it's easier to put my pants on. My balance has greatly improved. It helped heal and build strength in an injured shoulder. Before the class, my balance was not the best. Strong Bodies taught me balance exercises that have improved my quality of life. And then one participant said, I have participated in the program many times and have been able to keep off of osteoporosis medication. So we get that wonderful social connection, and then they're building that strength and resilience. So super proud of that program. Heard you had questions about it, and that's why it's super popular is some of the reasons I just said. So any questions?
Stacy, who do you teach that class to?
We teach the class, so that class, There's multiple ways we're teaching it. One of them is we're teaching it virtually through Zoom. So participants are actually participating at home. And but like winter, participants in winter have at their homes limited internet access. So then the winter library is actually offering it as a space for them to come and watch. They're zooming it up on a big screen. So and then Le Coudray, we're also doing the same thing there. It's been offered in person and then through a Zoom.
You see,
Do you offer it here at this resource?
That is being offered now by someone there, I believe. Jody, I think, is offering it now. I think she just got trained to teach it. So, yeah. So which is great because there's such a need for it. So being able to offer it in multiple ways, I think is great. It's constantly requested. So I think the more the merrier who can reach the aging or any adults. We have, adults.
when that wrist exercise, do you have your palm up or down?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, so if you have had any sort of wrist injury, surgery, anything like that, that's actually the modified version to have your wrist facing up. So we always tell participants if you have an injury, your wrists are going to be up because you have more, your mobility is more limited that way. And so if not, then we're going to go all the way down. You see how the mobility changes a
Okay.
little bit more?
Okay.
Range of motion?
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Andy, you got any questions? No?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Lori, anything else? No? Okay, let's move on to Hayward Lakes visitor. So, we don't have any report? All right, let's go. How about Northwest Regional Planning? Anything from Sheldon? Okay, Economic Development, Adam.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
So a couple things going on. We in Sawyer County, the EIDL grant program through the SBA. These applications are due May 6th for Sawyer County businesses that have had economic duress because of lack of snow. So that qualifies under the drought conditions. Couple little issues with that, but I'm going to call the SBA today and see if we can figure out why we've had some rejections. We had a meeting last week with WEDC and the Diverse Business Development. And some of the things, some of the takeaways from that meeting, there's some resources that are available specifically to new entrepreneurs. There's a free academy that they can take through that. So some good stuff there. We attended the business after 5 and discussed how the EDC and the bid can work together, utilize our resources to continue growing Sawyer County. And then most of my time has been under this Thrive grant where we're receiving $25,000 for 2 years. That money is going to be put into an incubator program for Sawyer County. So our group met, we're in the logistics phase of where we're going to have this incubator, how it's going to look, how it's going to be set up, how we're going to be working with the LCO College, the high schools in Sawyer County to utilize the resources for entrepreneurs. And basically how we're going to be able to do that funding wise for the next couple of years. The advantage of the Thrive grant is we have help from the Thrive grant coordinators to find more monies available, hopefully to help fund this long term. So that's the gist of the incubator program. Any questions?
That's good. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay. Let's see. Update on the master plan for the airport. And Andy, can you cover that?
Yeah, the last week on Wednesday, the public advisory group met with the consultants, Kaufman Associates, in the afternoon. And then in the evening, there was a public information workshop, the first public information workshop where the consultants gave an update on their planning to date and also went through the alternatives that they are reviewing as far as what the limitations are in the airport and how to address those. They went through the mix of business that the airport is getting as far as primarily the discussion is that maybe not necessarily the number of flights in and out of the airport aren't increasing at a real rapid pace, but for the jet traffic, the size of the jets are increasing. So the classification of the jets that are flying in is a bigger size of jets, and that's at some point could create some safety issues that would need to be addressed by either shifting the runway over or a longer runway or additional safety thresholds for those planes. They went through that explanation. So there'll be another public meeting this fall, September, October timeframe. And then eventually, sometime after that, the master plan will come back to the county board for consideration with the consultants making a single recommendation to the board as to how to proceed for future planning. I think a couple of things that I heard at the public information workshop that will be just additional information or education for the board and the public is the county's relationship with the FAA. That we are, yes, we own the land that the airport is on, but I think the key word is that we're the sponsor of the airport and that the FAA has a stake in what happens there. And actually things don't happen there without the FAA either expecting it to be done or approving it for the funding. So no questions like, can the airport be moved or why do we have to address the increase in traffic are really things that are dictated by the FAA. And I think that'll be something that we'll have to continue to discuss and explain that the county has taken a lot of money in from the FAA over the years to get the airport to where it is. And so there's a lot of sunk costs there, but it's been federal dollars. And so we are tied to the federal assurances that we've signed with them. So I know I've had some questions on that since the meeting. Another thing is that, we're in a master planning process, which is to help lay out the plan for the next 10, 20 or, the last time we did one of these was 1996. So this is not something where the county is putting a plan together to expand the airport in 5 years or even 10 years. It's going to be down the road before you'd really see any big changes with the airport, if there was any at all. And it's, again, not something that we've set out with directives to do. It's more responding to the traffic that the airport is seeing now.
Okay, good. Thanks, Andy. Okay, let's go back now to the library.
Oh, good. We are gearing up for summer reading because actually we start in the fall to prepare for that. And Anne's got a lot going on already. And the theme is Adventure Begins at Your Library. So that kind of leaves it wide open for us to have a lot of fun with. And it's National Women's History Month. So we have some couple displays set up for that. And one thing, I can't remember now if we had started this the last month that we were here, but we started Monday morning programs called Hello Tech, where people can either call in and make an appointment or they can just show up. And an awful lot of people still have trouble with their individual devices. They might have an older Kindle, something like that. So we show them how to set up. The most popular request is how to use Libby, the ebooks and e-audiobooks online for free. So we have 2 staff members who work with the public on that. And so far, it's growing. It takes a while for something to get started like that. So it's really been helpful. And let's see, I know we talked about the Hayward Writers Group, and I think they're gonna have to split it in two because there's some groups of people who are interested in writing fiction and some people who want to write like more journalistic magazine type articles. So it's kind of interesting. We do have two guys who are in charge of it. So we'll be able to split those groups in two if needed. And we have a Wills and Trust program presented by Susan Sharp Miley coming up on the 19th. We've had her there before and it's always been well attended. And I don't know if you saw the pictures of the kids on the back of the report, but the kids are coming back. So we're pretty excited about that. And we've had a lot more children's programs just to accommodate that. And next month, we would have done it today, but Ann's not feeling well. We have the annual report has been completed and approved and sent downstate, but we have an infographic. It's one sheet, and Donna may have done this before. It's a sheet that makes it easier to see the most interesting statistics from year to year. And one thing that I also do, we're going to present those to you. And one thing I also do is I will write down for my board the 2022 statistics numbers right next to 2023. So everybody on the county board will receive this in the infographic. So you can see how we're moving, things are improving. Does anybody have any questions?
You know, on the national news, you hear some states where there's some pressure as to what books can be shown on the bookshelves. Do you have any kind of pressure in Wisconsin from anybody?
Yeah, in Wisconsin, luckily, it hasn't been in our area yet. Now I can't remember, Phillips Library, I think is one that has, Phillips and Iron River. Iron River is in our library system. And it's been in the news a lot with the library board was, if I understand correctly, dismissed and a new library board was formed. The director who was there all through this is still there. And they're just trying to work out a happy medium. So there's not so much confrontation about it. Everybody's just trying to meet in the middle.
But we don't have that really pressure here.
No, it's happened maybe 3 times in my 29 years here where somebody would not care for a particular book for various reasons. And we have a form that can be filled out by anyone who would like to contest a book. And we have a policy in place to work with people on that.
Okay, good, thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions, anybody? All right, thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to the motorized trail. Andy, you're going to cover that?
Yeah, Kathy LaRue was unable to attend this morning. She did send an email this morning to read. All Sawyer County forests, federal forest, and Columbia River State Forest trails are currently closed for the spring thaw, other than the Discovia State Trail and the attached 9-mile loop. Road routes are still open as well. They are gathering a lot of responses from the NORTAC ATV survey and are excited by the results so far. Hopefully next month she'll be able to put together a mid-survey report. And there is a push by our county businesses to open more roads to ATV access to provide for connectivity. ATVers could not legally reach several of the businesses this winter to help with the loss of revenue from the lack of sledders, and business owners are angered by this.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, anybody? Oh, I'm sorry.
Donna Nucky's online with the Winter Library. I don't know if you want to
Okay,
bring her up.
somebody wants to make a
I'm
comment?
gonna call on Donna. She's from the Winter Library to get her report.
Okay. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Hello there. I do appreciate being able to attend virtually and that option because not all counties do allow that. So I appreciate it. I sent in my report late and I think Lynn will forward it to you, or probably already has done that. We do have similar things with Molly, that Molly was talking about is programmings are increasing in libraries because back to popular demand and meeting the needs of the communities. And we find that with our programming, it's a wonderful time for families to connect with each other, and build relationships so that they can continue that outside of the library and make those connections. But it's not even just about the families. We just had yesterday, we had our first jigsaw puzzle tournament, which was a fun community activity. We had teams and a competition in the library and tables set up. And it was a great way for the adults to get together and lots of laughs and fun and some competitiveness. So we're always looking for different opportunities to meet those needs. We also offer technology support. I know I've been a director here for 13 years, and we used to have classes scheduled in the library because there was high demand, but we're finding that it's more individualized. So we have a system in which people can set up appointments and get that one-on-one tech support. We have upcoming this week, our Friends of the Library is going to be meeting and developing our fundraising plan for the year. And of course, we use those funds to help with the programming costs that there are. Plus also we have that loan or grant that we need to repay, or we want to repay. We're not required to, I guess, unless we close down as a library, but we would like to pay that off. So we use some of those fundraising efforts to help offset that cost and lower that lien on our building. The grant I've been waiting for will be awarded at the end of this month. I don't know if I'm a recipient, but we've been anxiously waiting a few months to hear if we are going to receive science STEM kits that we can purchase for the library and circulate in the community. And we are also planning our summer reading program. This year, we're connecting with the Winter School District. They're really pushing for increasing their reading scores and improve reading at the school is in their curriculum. And so one way we're doing it is we are working with the reading specialist at the school and doing a collaborative effort with our reading program. We won't be going into the school and doing it at the school, but they're going to encourage their elementary youth to attend our library programs. And we've come up with a collaborative incentive program. We're always looking for new ideas and new opportunities. And I'm just with as 3 part-time people on staff, I'm just really happy with all of the things we can offer to our community. So, and it's nice to be part of a larger network, even though, you know, Hayward is a separate library from Winter and from LCO, but we all work together as directors and as libraries to encourage and share ideas and support each other.
Okay,
And that's
any
all,
further?
yep, that's all I have for my report today.
Okay. Any questions, anybody? Okay, let's go back to Kathy. Any more comments? Okay, how about the broadband?
Sure. If I could just, I thought 2 more things for the master plan, just real quick. One is if you weren't at the public information workshop last week, it was recorded and the link should be up on our YouTube page and it'll also end up on the airport master plan website. And then if you want to see the alternatives that the consultants presented, that's on the website as well, which is airportstudy.sawyercounty.net. Broadband updates. The BEAD funding is still slow to get out there. We have not seen the maps yet. The maps will guide the eligibility for those funds. There'll be a challenge period. That's really the next step, and we've been waiting to see those maps. We did get an update last week on the last round of grants through the PSC, the Wisconsin PSC, It's what they call the capital projects fund round. And so it was a smaller round of funds. I think there was only 40 million-ish dollars available. And there was a few applications that came in from the providers within Sawyer County, and one of those was awarded. Mosaic is getting a grant down in the Edgewater, Town of Sand Lake area out of that round.
Is there any current map showing what part of Sawyer County has coverage and doesn't have coverage?
Just the map that we still, the same map that well, you can go on to, the PSC has a map, as does the FCC. That's what's going to be guiding the BEAD funding. So those maps, and then we did do a internal map last fall. I think we got it there last summer, and that's the most recent that we have that we've done at the county level.
Okay, good, thank you. Any questions? Anybody? Okay, we've submitted around the letter from Ben Pop as far as the Brook is concerned. The Brookline was 2 weeks ago. Unusual 50th anniversary. There's been 5 international races that have been canceled. This race was a success as far as races in the Midwest. Everything's been canceled. I was hoping that we'd hear from Sherry what impact we had or didn't have in the city. I mean, there was no Main Street snow. So
Yeah, but Sherry's not the chamber, so it wouldn't be the city. Sherry's the Hayward Lakes, which is all Sawyer County. So I mean, Mike would probably have that information faster than Sherry would.
No. I've talked to this Corey, who's a head gal down at the front desk at the Holiday Inn Express. She said they have no cancellations, and as a matter of fact, they had some requests for rooms. And they were willing to refund in full your money if you wanted to cancel, but you got off the list from next year. So they all came or used the room for something else. So it'll be interesting to see what effect it had, the snow. But what do you do? It's a miracle you could pull that off, really. Okay, let's go on then to an LCO update. Either Chris or Brian, do you have any news for us on the medical center?
It's been a couple months since I've been involved in there, so I don't really have anything. I apologize for that, but by appearances, everything is going fine. I haven't heard of anything that would indicate that there's been any kind of problems. And so, as far as I know, the construction schedule is on schedule. So
Good, wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, I spoke with Rob, who's our superintendent over there this morning. He said that the build is going good, everything's on track, that they have a quarter of the interior floor is all poured and walls are going up. They will have another quarter of it poured this week. So that was about all he had to say. Okay,
Good, thank you. Okay, moving on to the Historical Society. We have one here. Jim is not here today. Anything else we should talk about?
Yeah, I guess as long as you mention something, I can bring up a little information. I can't speak specifically to this year's Berkey, although I heard all the anecdotal things you did that there was not much on the cancellations of the skiers or accommodation providers. The week after the Berkey, there was a question that came in looking for the economic impact of the Birkebeiner. And somehow it got to me because the Berkey office staff was not available that week, and the staff at the CVB, Convention Visitors Bureau, were not available. But there was a grant that one of the townships was preparing, and I think it was going to do some type of medical equipment, and part of that was to serve the Birkebeiner Trail. But we were able to find an economic study done by an outside agency in 2016 that put the economic impact of the Berkey at 20 million at that time. And we used the increase in the number of skiers and as well as just the inflation over the years, so that we provided a number of just under 29 million now for the economic impact of the Berkey.
Wow.
So they might have, the Birkebeiner, Ben might have a different number. I don't know if that's a good thing for them to assess, but I think that's a very reasonable number.
I think the real key was the foresight they had in investing in man-made snow. And then basically that's what they ski down is man-made snow. Last weekend they had the fat bike race, which was basically on ice and
Mhm.
snow and dirt. And snow is whatever is gone, but without that artificial snow, it'd been really a bad year. And they think they started all the way from the turkey burkey for the Thanksgiving up until now. So it's amazing. They had snow when there was nothing but grass around anywhere else.
It's pretty remarkable that they managed. I don't think they canceled any events up through the
No.
Berkey.
Other than the giant ski on the main street.
They didn't cancel it, they just
Modified.
The county doesn't have a team anymore, right?
Public Health had a team.
Really?
Yep.
Good. Okay. Well, Ben said he'd be happy to come back and report to the whole board regarding the Berkey, if they'd like. So we'll see. Okay, Historical Society, we have no one here. For future agenda items, anybody have anything else we should put on the agenda for next month? Brian, or you have anything, Brian or Chris? No.
I don't.
Okay. Any correspondence? No. Okay, then we'll adjourn. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy the great weather.